What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. We are live. I know I do apologize. It's been a couple of days and I've been out, but nonetheless, I am here. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching this live right now, please hit the thumbs up. Even if you're watching this on the replay, please hit the thumbs up and share this video. We're going to talk about free speech in America. Free speech. And the reason why we're talking about free speech is because the Democrats, they are demonstrating how they are against free speech. Now, apparently, the GOP or the committee, the Judicial Committee, if I'm saying it right, and Jim Jordan is the chairman of it, they had a hearing about free speech and what's happening in the UK. And to my understanding, what is happening is that the UK is getting pressured by liberals to suppress free speech. You can't say certain things, apparently. Now, I don't live in the UK. I've only started seeing information about this from the UK. And it's not even just the UK, it's European countries. Some European countries, they don't want you to say certain things. They want you to be able to say what they want you to say. But if you say something that they disagree with, they will arrest you. One person's been arrested because they put something on Facebook and they're not even from the UK. They were from another country, but they were in Arizona at the time when they put something on, I think it was either Facebook or Twitter, but they put something on social media. Well, when they landed in the UK, there was armed guards there to arrest him. Oh, he's getting on the airplane. We're going to arrest him as soon as he gets off. The Democrats love this idea. The Democrats love the idea of suppressing and censoring the American people. They love this idea. And they, not only do they want to censor the American people, they want this to happen all around the world. They don't care where you are, who you are. If you go against their way of thinking, their ideology, these Democrats will go out of their way to shut you down. Because that's who they are. They will go out of their way to shut you down. Now, I want to play you some of this hearing that took place just yesterday. Just yesterday with this hearing. And they're talking about free speech. Why in the world, in the year 2025, about to be 2026, are we still having an issue about free speech? The Constitution was written how long ago in the United States of America? And see, these Democrats, they have this thing in them that they have to shut down free speech. Because see, they believe, without even talking to them, that you shouldn't be able to say certain things. And if they can get you to, if they can shut down certain free speech, that means that they will be able to control the thoughts of people, what people believe. This is their whole agenda. Now, listen to some of this.
You know, the statement that Trump is bringing us to the edge of being an autocratic state in and of itself disproves the premise of that statement. Think about that. It's absurd. Under the First Amendment, the general proposition is that government should not be regulating the content of its citizens' speech. You have the opposing idea that it's the responsibility of government to decide not only what its citizens should think, but what content they are allowed to see and engage with. To some, the reality of the government regulation of speech may sound like it's a distant, authoritarian notion that won't come to the United States of America, but I would ask you to just think back again. I'm reminded of Orwell's 1984. Think of the memory hole that people are trying to memory hole right now, some even on this panel, sir, who don't want you to realize how bad a government can be when it attempts to censor right here in the United States. For instance, President Obama, this is from an article I'd ask unanimous consent. President Obama has been the most aggressive administration in history, not only going after whistleblowers, but after pursuing reporters who write their stories. How about this one, the Biden legacy? How about this whole stack, and I'll put these in just a second, is convenient to memory hole what the Biden administration did, what they did to suppress dissent and contrary opinion. I'll get into that in a second. The actions of European governments show that the type of censorship by government is not only possible, but very much doable. Under the guise of public safety, government officials in Europe have suppressed and arrested individuals who have simply engaged in political speech that is arbitrarily deemed to be unspeakable by the government. This kind of regime doesn't just appear on the scene, though. It takes time to develop. And we've seen it here, and that's why I'm taking this opportunity to remind you that FISA must be reformed. FISA must be reformed. So, Mr. Price, you alluded to this, and so I have this document right here that compares the GDP growth of EU versus the U.S. 1998 to 2023. And the U.S. has grown about 87%, almost 90%. The EU has increased its GDP by about 13%. So you have almost a 6x variable there. The question is, when you set these kind of draconian fines and you set up a system that is amorphous and almost indefinable, might it not also have some more than just even the safety, ostensible safety of the society? Might it lead to trying to regulate when you can't innovate?
I think that's very much the case, sir. We've seen it not just in the area of speech, but obviously, as we were discussing, the Digital Markets Act, data protection, and so on. And Europe is facing some very serious structural problems demographically, financially. And a lot of what I think is inspiring the DSA is what we saw from Germany beginning after the election of President Trump and after Brexit, which is to control the narrative, slow down speech. And into that, then, they're throwing a very wide net out that's affecting all kinds of legitimate speech. We talked about my client, Päivi Räsänen, in Finland, who was prosecuted for sharing a tweet from the Bible. It's absolutely outrageous. And that becomes now the standard that the DSA will set, not just for Europe, but possibly and predictably globally.
And similarly, Mr. Reed, that's what's going to happen to your app innovators. They're not going to be able to have access to 440 million people in a marketplace in Europe without having to go through essentially government censorship.
Well, I think you hit it earlier when you said that their focus has been on regulating or adding legislation. And it isn't one piece of regulation or one piece of legislation that has caused problems for our innovators, both in the UK, in the EU, and in America. It's been the stacking effect. Because if you start with one regulation, you say, I can handle that, I'll build that into my business. It's when you have one, then two, then four, then six. So what's been the biggest problem for growth has been their answer is that old quip, the beatings will continue until morale improves. We often feel that way about regulation. Innovation will get regulated until we get more innovation, and I don't think that will work out.
Thanks, Mr. Reed. Now I'll finish with you, Mr. Farage. What happened to the great countries of the West? I mean, seriously, and their liberal understanding of civil rights and the ability to speak one's mind openly without fear of arrest or censorship or abuse of harassment by the government?
I think what went wrong in many ways is we forgot why we actually had those liberties and had those freedoms in the first place. We forgot that, as I mentioned, I touched on earlier, we forgot the huge sacrifices that were made by citizens alive at that time to defend those principles against tyranny and against dictatorship.
You know, it's interesting. He's 100% correct. People have paid the ultimate price so that way we could have the freedoms today. They paid the ultimate price. And these Democrats, they don't see it that way. These Democrats believe that they need to shut down speech. And what I find really interesting, and I don't even think they brought this up, the Democrats have made it to where they talk about hate speech. And I've asked this question, what is hate speech? Because apparently anything that the Democrats don't want to hear is considered hate speech, meaning that they get to shut you down. The very fact that in his country that they're arresting people because someone says something that they did not like is alarming. And it's alarming because there's supposed to be a free society, and the Democrats here in America, they're pushing for the same policies. Come on.
We've kind of lost our way in understanding why we are as we are. And I think that has permeated through the education system, where I'm not sure we've been teaching good values. The slavery comment was made earlier. I completely understand there's nothing good about slavery. But take our country, we spent decades driving slavery off the high seas. So whilst we were perpetrators to begin with, we actually, in the end, drove it off the high seas. So we need to teach our kids a sense of balance about our history, about the sacrifice that's been made. That's my feeling.
Mr. Chairman, I have some unanimous consent.
Gentleman, recognized.
This one, GDP growth comparison, EU to US, 1998 to 2023. This one, Biden's press freedom legacy, empty words and hypocrisy. Massive government censorship during and about COVID from the New Civil Liberties Alliance. The Fifth Circuit agrees that federal officials unconstitutionally coerced or encouraged online censorship under the Biden administration. This one, information during the pandemic suppressed. Feds blew $267 million fighting misinformation under Biden as Trump vows to ban censorship cartel. This one, how the FBI violated the privacy rights of tens of thousands of Americans. This one, Inspector General report on FBI's FISA abuse tells us one thing: we need radical reform. This one, UK comedy writer Graham Linehan arrested over social media posts criticizing trans activists. Why did Lucy Connolly receive a 31-month sentence for Southport tweet? Policing thought crime should have no place in the UK. Britain's emerging police state. Knock, knock, it's the thought police. As thousands of criminals go uninvestigated, detectives call on a grandmother. Her crime, she went on Facebook to criticize labor counselors. This one, UK steps up free speech crackdown as armed police arrest comedy writer Graham Linehan at Heathrow Airport. And this one, Britain's new thought police, how labor plans to police your online speech. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Wow. And he was just listing off stuff that was happening here in America. He was listing off things that the Democrats were doing to Americans. And it's been happening all over social media. I've had people in the past send me, and they, I haven't seen any here lately because, I haven't been, on Facebook. People send me messages in the past saying, well, they banned me, or they put me in Facebook jail, or they suspended my account because I put scripture from the Bible, verbatim, copied it and pasted it. And they were targeted because they did that. And not a single Democrat, not a single Democrat, not a one, had an issue with that. They still don't have issues with it. Really, the Democrats, they still want that to happen today. They want it to happen. And they have this whole, what gets me is they have this whole idea that they should be able to shut down free speech. And there's nothing wrong with it. But yet they turn around and kick and scream, saying that President Trump is the one violating the Constitution. They say President Trump is trying to be a dictator. They say President Trump is doing this authoritarian moves when all along the Democrats have been the ones doing it. You know what? I used to do this all the time. I said, the Democrats, they would be standing over here and they would be pointing the finger over there. While all along, they're doing all of the corruption right here. And people see the corruption taking place, right? So no one is disputing that the authoritarian, trying to be a dictator, ending free speech, coming after innocent Americans, they see it happening because they see the Democrats doing it. And then when people look at the Democrats, they direct their attention to look at the Republicans. Oh, look, this is what the Republicans are going to do. Not what the Republicans are doing, what they're going to do. And people that look at these Democrats, they just absorb it and they take it in and say, oh, yeah, that's what the Republicans are going to try to do. And they believe it because they see it already happening by the Democrats. The Democrats do not want free speech. See, there's been reports, allegedly, you have to say that, right? Allegedly, that some politicians, they actually reached out to the social media tech giants and had them shut down certain people online. Sound familiar to anybody? Does it sound familiar to anybody? You know what I'm saying is true, but you have to say allegedly, right? We know that it was true. They were actually shutting down people online because they were making noise. And all this really, the shutdown of free speech, you know where this really comes from, my personal opinion, other than just the Democrats, the ones that's actually pushing these people on Capitol Hill to censor free speech? You know where they actually came from? The media. Because of social media, it gives you and I the opportunity to research the information for ourselves, and it gives you and I the opportunity to talk about different things. This is what's been taking place. The mainstream media, they don't like it. They don't like it because they want to be the ones who control information. They want to be the ones who tell people what to believe, what to see, and what not to see. And because they've been losing millions and millions and millions of views, a lot of people are no longer watching the dinosaur legacy media any longer, which I call the deep state government state media. People are no longer watching them because they're like, you know what, put it this way. People are going to TikTok for their news before they're going to MSDNC or to the Communist News Network. Come on now. That's really amazing to me. People are going to TikTok for their news before they even go to these liberal media outlets. And that's what has them really irked. Because, see, they want to be able to control people. And see, long as they can, look, they'll be okay with it as long as they can control what people, the information that people get on the social media. Sound familiar? Remember when Joe Biden was in office, what did Joe Biden try to do? Joe Biden created a whole disinformation board. His administration created that and then they appointed this lady, I don't remember her name. They appointed this lady to be over it. And she wanted to remove everyone's blue check on Twitter at the time and only allow the people that she deemed fit to have that. And then if you had the blue check on Twitter and someone made a comment and it went viral, she wanted to give the liberals the authority to go on there and reword it or put another comment on there. So they could basically wipe out anything that you said and put something else there. And it would look like everyone is in agreement to whatever that post was. They wanted to do that across the board because they said that they were fighting disinformation when all along, they were the ones pushing it out there. They were the ones pushing all this disinformation out there. And it's kind of a pet peeve for me because I don't have any reason to come on here and lie to people. I don't have any reason. There's no benefit in me lying to people. Because once people start realizing that you're constantly lying about stuff, people won't even pay attention to you. People won't care about what you have to say. So I have no benefit in lying to people. Now, because I don't lie, the people that don't want the truth to get out, that's when the censorship comes in. That's when the censorship comes into play. Listen to Ratskin as he complains about President Trump. He says President Trump tried to censor him, tried to block his voice, knowing good and well that's not true. But see, these Democrats, what do they constantly do? They say what they think might happen or they think was happening when it has nothing to do with reality.
We had about free speech, and after 3 minutes of talking, he cut me off and terminated the meeting because he didn't like what I was saying. That's the kind of free speech he's committed to. There is a free speech crisis in America today, but there's no free speech crisis in Britain. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has not shut down GB News, where Mr. Farage has his own show, just because Mr. Farage has used his airtime to call for banning peaceful protests that he disagrees with. No one has stopped him from going on Russian TV 17 times and saying also and repeating that the one world political leader he most admired was Vladimir Putin, even though Vladimir Putin is a war criminal and a dictator
Oh, my
who has
goodness.
regularly interfered in other countries' democratic elections.
Oh my goodness.
No one is.
You know what? The United States of America, did y'all know that when Obama was in office, allegedly, so you still got to say that word. You got to say that. Allegedly. Did y'all know that Obama interfered into the election in Israel? Did y'all know that? He interfered. He interjected because he did not want Benjamin Netanyahu to win. He interjected. He wanted the liberals in Israel to win. That's what he wanted. So he doesn't, of course, he doesn't say anything about that. And it's no secret that every nation on this planet interferes or they interject. Same thing as interfere, right? They put themselves in there because they want a certain person that they want in there. And he's acting like, oh my goodness, this was a new revelation. Russia, Russia, Russia. And they're still pushing that whole Russia hoax as if it was factual. Information came out that it wasn't factual, and they're still pushing it because impressionable, simple-minded people will believe anything that people like Ratskin says. Anything and everything.
Stop Mr. Farage from parroting Putin's absurd talking points, like when Farage claimed that NATO, the U.S. and Britain provoked this war in Ukraine. For a man who fashions himself as some kind of a free speech martyr, Mr. Farage seems most at home with the autocrats and dictators of the world who are crushing freedom on earth.
Oh, my goodness.
Mr. Farage wants to get rid of the Online Safety Act in his country, a law shepherded by the Conservative Party and implemented by the Labor Party, which bans child pornography online, protects children from harmful content, forbids non-consensual pornography and other unlawful content. He should go and advance the positions he's taking here in Congress today in Parliament, which is meeting today.
You know what? Ratskin lies just like the rest of them. He absolutely lies. No conservative anywhere on the planet wants to allow child pornography on any social media platform. When it pops up on the social media platforms here in America, these Democrats don't say nothing. They're silent about it. But now he's trying to act like he's against it. Give me a break.
If he's serious about it. To the people of UK who think this Putin-loving free speech imposter and Trump sycophant will protect freedom in your country, come on over to America and see what Trump and MAGA are doing to destroy our freedom, kidnap college students off the street, ban books from our libraries.
What? When did President Trump start kidnapping college students off the streets of America? When did that happen? This is like breaking news. Breaking news, everybody. You know, it didn't happen. It never happened. It never happened. See, when you're a congressperson, see, this is the problem that I have with Congress. When you are in this position and you go on here and you blatantly lie, because President Trump is not disappearing or kidnapping anybody. When you make these kind of statements being in this position and you're lying, blatantly lying, you should be censored, and not just censored, but you should be removed from this position. He should not be able to sit on any committees. Nothing. Enough with the blatant lies. He has an agenda. Stop Trump. That's all this is. Stop Trump and to get rid of the Constitution. The Democrats don't hide that.
Militarize our police and unleash them against our communities.
Oh, really? So when the FBI showed up at the parent school board meetings and was labeling parents as domestic terrorists because they were concerned about the school education for their children, that wasn't weaponizing the law enforcement against the American people? Where's this dude been at? See, he has an agenda. They don't care. They only want to push through their tyrannical agenda.
Take over our universities, wreck our professional civil service, and turn the government into a money-making machine for Trump and his family.
Oh my goodness.
Might think twice.
Really? So when President Trump was a billionaire before he went into office, that's what you're talking about? Let's talk about Joe Biden and his dealings with his family. Oh, you don't want to talk about that, though, do you? Do you?
Before you let Mr. Farage make Britain great again.
That's what it is. That's the problem. Mr. Farage want to make Britain great again. He wants to make Britain great again. Well, listen to the young man that he has a problem with, rat skin. And he actually, addresses rat skin statement to him and that whole spiel of nonsense.
I'm delighted to reacquaint with the charming Mr. Raskin.
And that's their way of him being polite and insulting rat skin. That's his way of, listen to his, I love the accent too.
I'm delighted to reacquaint with the charming Mr. Raskin. Delightful testimony you gave me earlier on with your speech. But hey, that's fine. You can say what you like. I don't care. Because that's what free speech is. And in a sense, this has all been going wrong now for a couple of decades. Mm-hmm. We've kind of forgotten the Voltairean principles that we'll fight and defend to the death your right to say something that we fundamentally disagree with. That is the absolute foundation, if you think about it, of free speech, of democracy, of living in freedom. It's kind of why we fought 2 world wars at massive, massive cost to defend that very principle for ourselves and for many, many others around the country. And
that's the reason why we fought 2 world wars. That's the reason why we fought 2 world wars. So that we could have free speech today. So we could have free speech. And of course, the Democrats don't want us to have free speech. They don't want us to have free speech.
That the gentleman alleges there's no free speech in America under President Trump, while his staff member is holding up countless number of articles criticizing the Trump administration.
What Jim Jordan just said in a polite way, that these Democrats are nothing but a bunch of hypocrites. They're if there's no free speech under President Trump, then how is it that every other day, one day they call Trump a dictator, the next day they call him white supremacist, the dictator, then they go right back to the same thing. Or they say that he's misogynist, or they say he's racist. Or, it's every other day the Democrats have something that they say about President Trump, and it's nothing new. They just put it on cycle. And remember J.D. Vance, he went overseas and he actually addressed the free speech issue overseas. This is the dude that is preventing free speech from happening. And then he comes to sit down next to President Donald J. Trump and straight up lies as if, oh, no, we have free speech. We have free speech. Of course. You have the freedom to say what we say you can say. Well, one of the people in the press corps asked a question about the free speech issue, and J.D. Vance is right there.
In his remarks at the Munich Security Conference, Vice President Vance condemned free speech violations in the UK, particularly. Could you respond? What is your message?
I have an idea. We have the man right here. Come on. Let's go, JD. We're putting you on stage.
Great. Look, I said what I said, which is that we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies. But we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and, by extension, American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our history there.
You hear that? He said he's very proud of the history there. They're very proud of the history there. They're very proud of it. According to him, they're proud of it. But yet people are getting arrested online. They're getting arrested for the information that they're putting online. And they're not calling for harm to anybody. They're not saying anything that is just right down hateful. And even if you did say something hateful, should you not be able to say it? Right? I mean, you should. I mean, just for example, on my Facebook page, my Will Johnson Facebook page, I've been posting these little shorts. I've been putting them on Instagram and they go on Facebook too. And I post this little short, and I posted this short talking about how the Democrats right now today, They're fighting against President Trump when he's wanting to stop the violence and the crime. And my whole point was, really quick, I'm going to give it a really quick rundown of it, is that President Trump, like Abraham Lincoln, did positive things for the country. And look what they did to Abraham Lincoln. Look what they're trying to do to President Trump. Abraham Lincoln stopped slavery. President Trump stopped the slavery of illegal immigrants that the Democrats were using to their advantage. President Trump stopped that. The Democrats are livid about it. Livid. The Republicans, during the time of Abraham Lincoln, because they freed the slaves and they made it to where black people had the freedoms, the Democrats convinced black people, when LBJ came along, that the Republicans are bad. So the same people that freed you, you need to believe that they are bad. Just like today, President Trump stopping the crime, the Democrats, what do they do again? They come out there and they kick and scream and said, Trump is bad. He's stopping crime. You're supposed to dislike him because we're telling. And what, for the life of me, I don't understand how people are so easily manipulated. I mean, they absolutely see the truth. DC, as of today, is the safest city in the country. You can probably go ahead and say the entire world. The safest city, meaning that you can walk down the street with a gold watch on, a gold chain that costs thousands of dollars, and no one's going to snatch it off of you. Ladies can walk down the street by themselves with their purse loosely hanging from their shoulders, and no one's going to snatch it. This is what President Trump has done in D.C. And the Democrats, just like clockwork, oh my goodness, Trump is bad. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, made it where they can start living their own lives. Republicans bad. Abraham Lincoln bad. You see what he's doing. And people don't even question it. They just follow in line. Follow in line like it never even happened. Like, no. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. You need to believe us because we're the ones who actually oppressed you. We're the ones that don't want you to learn how to read. We're the ones that don't want you to know anything. So you need to believe what we say. Trump bad, Trump bad. TDS. You know the rest. See, this whole thing, what we're experiencing with these Democrats, is something that I've been trying to expose ever since I picked up the camera. Ever since I picked up the camera and I started talking about these Democrats, it is all coming to light now. And more people finally seeing it. And see, again, because I told the truth, I told many people before that the Democrat Party is the party of evilness. And you have people in high places now. I think it was Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller even talked about how the Democrat Party is an organization that has nothing to do to benefit the American people. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But all that they want is power. And if they can't get the power that they want, shut it down. This was during the general election. This woman here completely lost in the general election. In this video, she's attacking Elizabeth Warren. She's attacking Elizabeth Warren because Elizabeth Warren did not agree at the time about censoring President Trump on social media. Kamala Harris was piping mad that Twitter allowed President Trump with the 65 million followers to have a voice. She wanted not only President Trump removed, blocked, censored, but she, at the time, this one here wanted Twitter to be shut down. Shut it down at the time. Listen, blast from the past.
Senator Warren, I just want to say that I was surprised to hear that you did not agree with me that on this subject of what should be the rules around corporate responsibility for these big tech companies, when I called on Twitter to suspend Donald Trump's account, that you did not agree. And I would urge you to join me, because here we have Donald Trump, who has 65 million Twitter followers. and is using that platform as the president of the United States to openly intimidate witnesses, to threaten witnesses, to obstruct justice. And he and his account should be taken down. We saw in El Paso that
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. And this one here was a government official. Come on. I mean, she's straight up there advocating for it. Like, nope. How dare you not agree with me on shutting him down, silencing him? But who's trying to be authoritarian again? Remind me. Who's trying to be authoritarian? This is the type of stuff that you can't make up. This is the type of stuff that I'm constantly talking about. And people want to act like, oh, well, you know, it's really not that bad. It's not that bad. This is the stuff I constantly talk about. These Democrats get the first opportunity. If they ever get the first opportunity, you know what's going to happen? They're going to end free speech. Now, they can't do away with the Constitution. Let's be clear, because it takes multiple states for them to actually make a major change in the Constitution. But what they will do is that they will tack on laws on top of it. And if they control the Supreme Court, if they can stack the Supreme Court, which they've constantly said that they want to do, it's no secret. And if they turn Puerto Rico into a state, and along with D.C., they would get more senators that would be straight up Democrat. And if they're successful in doing that, they would just tack on laws that will hinder you being able to say stuff that hurt their feelings. They will hinder you from being able to go and exercising your Second Amendment rights and defending yourself and your family. They will tack on extra laws to prevent you, the American people, the law-abiding citizen, from being able to defend yourself. And I think the way they're going to do the Second Amendment is that they won't come after you and I, right? Because it's in the Constitution. They won't come after you and I. What they will do is that they will put in laws against the gun manufacturers. That's where it will come into play. Put in laws against the gun manufacturers saying that they can only make certain amount or shut them down altogether. They'll put regulations, they'll put policies on them that's so heavy they will have no choice but to shut down, because they will not be able to sustain it. They will not be able to continue. That's what they're going to do. I'm trying to tell you right now, hear me now, believe me later on, and I hope it never happens and you can come back and say, Will Johnson, that never happened. And I'm going to say, you're right. Thank God. But the Democrats, as of today, they want that very thing to happen. That's what they're looking forward to. They want it to happen. They straight up do. Because they are pure evil. These Democrats are pure evil. Hey, can I ask everyone that's watching right now, let me say thank you to Ann. Ann, thank you so much for the stars. And then I see Nancy. Thank you so much as well for the Facebook stars on my Facebook page. Thank you so much. And I didn't see any other ones, but thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. And let me see. If anyone, and I'm not asking Ann. Ann has been amazing. Ann has been amazing with this. But for everyone, if you could, anything helps. If you could go to givesendgo.com/studio, help me with some of the small upgrades that I need to do. I have a lot of equipment in here that's 10 years plus. And you can look on here. I'm not asking for the world. I'm not even asking for the world. I'm just asking for a little help to do a couple things here and there, to do some minor upgrades, not major upgrades. I mean, I'll just have to keep going with the stuff that I currently have for any major upgrades. But I'm just asking, if you find it in your heart, anything helps. If you could go to givesendgo.com /studio. Support me. And then we got T3 on Rumble. Thank you so much. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Like that. Thank you so much for the Rumble rant. Thank you so much, T3. Thank you so much. And then Nick, thank you so much for the Rumble rant as well. Thank you so much for that, Nick. I'm not going to butcher your name there, but I'll just say Nick. I hope that's okay. Other than that, please, if you could, again, go to givesendgo.com/studio. Support me, help me. I've always been told you don't get help if you don't ask. And a lot of people just sit there and think that you don't need help. And be honest with you, I end up having to swallow my pride because I need to ask for help. Other than that, if you could go to uniteamericafirst.com, uniteamericafirst.com. I'll put it down here in the bottom as well. uniteamericafirst.com and support me. Sign up for the free newsletter, everybody. Sign up for the free newsletter. And you can see the different shows that I do throughout the day. I got another show an hour and 15 minutes from now called Culture Wars at 1 o'clock Central. 1 o'clock Central. Put a mobile alert on your phone and come check it out. It's a different show. Trust me, it's a different show. Right? It's a different show. Same Will Johnson. You still get the same fire. Okay? You get the same fire. And at the same time, if you would, please go to uniteamericafirst.com/donate. Support me here. You can see right there, different people do the different subscriptions at the top. I greatly appreciate it. Some people do monthly, some people don't. Some people just want to do the one-time thing, which you can see right there. All the one-time things. I really do appreciate it as well. Or my physical address, which you see right there. My physical address at uniteamericafirst.com/donate. If God puts it on your heart to help me out. All right. Another thing I want to bring up to everyone's attention. I was thinking about doing this, and y'all let me know in the chat. I was thinking about changing my time that I do this show into the evening. But y'all let me know in the chat what you think. Y'all let me know. Do you like me at this time? Should I just stay at this time and continue doing it? Because the censorship is really bad. I mean, they've been hitting me really hard on the social media platforms. You know which ones I'm talking about. They're hitting me like no tomorrow. I mean, they really are. For my lives. Now, I put some shorts out there, and the shorts are I got like 115,000 for one short, and then got 140,000 on another short, and like within a couple of days, just boom. The thing is, they know that I'm getting all these views and they're allowing it to happen, I believe, for those because they're not monetized. But I don't know why they're not allowing these lives. I guess because I'm asking people to support me. Because without your support, I can't do any of this. I am truly viewer supported. I am viewer supported by God's people. 100%. 100%. I am truly supported by God's people. If you ever wondered, are there any people out there that's stepping out on faith, trusting in our Lord Jesus Christ, trusting in the things that he's going to provide? That is me. And I've always heard that, if you fail, you keep trying, right? And I have to be honest with you, it is really hard. It is really hard. But I keep pushing through. I keep trying because I know there are people out there that are extremely appreciative for the information that I share, and that I do not back down in expressing my beliefs in our Lord Jesus Christ and the love for our country and truly the love for humanity. That's part of the reason why I like and respect President Trump. Because President Trump constantly saying like these wars is happening around the world. President Trump is putting himself in it, and he's stopping a lot of these wars. I forget one location war was going on for 35 years, and President Trump stepped in there and they stopped the war. It's with these Buddhist monks out there that they wouldn't even talk. They've gone years without even talking. And President Trump stopped the war, and they came out and did a whole celebration, and they were talking. You can't tell me the Antichrist is not watching what President Trump is doing and happy about it. Angry. But anyways, with that said, everybody, thank you so much, and God bless you. Again, if you find it on your heart, I'm asking you, please, go to thegibsongo.com/studio. Anything helps. I think one person gave me $5. Anything helps. So I thank you all, and God bless you. Y'all let me know in the comments. I'm going to go through the comments and see. I was just thinking about changing the time. Not necessarily mean I'm going to do it. It's been kind of thinking about it. But y'all let me know in the chat. God bless everybody. See you in about 1 hour on the Culture Wars. Make sure you go watch it. Take care.